Hello, everyone. I welcome you in this lecture on English Renaissance, a literary movement, a very important literary movement in the history of English literature. The term Renaissance seems to have been first used by the French historian Jules Michel in his Histoire de France, published in 1855. The term Renaissance literally means rebirth or revival. In art and literature, it meant the rebirth or revival of Greek art, literature, culture, and pattern of life which had partly or largely been destroyed by the repeated invasions of the Turks. They were a barbarous tribe who not only plundered the wealth of the Greeks but also destroyed their art and literature and centers of their culture and education during the 15th century. The final Holocaust of Greek art and literature occurred when Constantinople fell to the Turks in 1453. The Greek artists, scholars, poets, and philosophers fled from Greece and carried with them their own books, manuscripts, and other objects of art, together with those of their ancestors, and found favorable center in Rome in Italy. In Italy, they found a very favorable atmosphere for the revival and further enrichment of their art and literature. Therefore, this event may be taken as the starting point of the Renaissance. The Greek learning was revived by the scholars of the classics called humanists. They revived the knowledge of the Greek language, discovered and disseminated a great number of Greek manuscripts, and added considerably to the number of Roman authors and works which had been known in the Middle Ages. The result was enlarging immensely the stock of ideas, materials, literary forms, and styles available to Renaissance writers. From Italy, the Renaissance spread through Germany, Spain, France, the Netherlands, and finally reached England. The Renaissance became a national movement during the reign of Queen Elizabeth. During her reign, it became a mass movement and flourished and came to fruition and reached its zenith in the sphere of both life and literature. This Elizabethan age spans from 1558 to 1625. It is also the age of William Shakespeare. Some of the major features of this Renaissance in England are as it is started as one critic says, every breeze was dusty with the pollen of Greece, Rome, and of Italy. So we can say that it started a new classical flavor everywhere in art, literature, and even in manners. The general atmosphere was charged with the spirit of the Renaissance or new learning. Consequently, an immense impetus was given to the sense of beauty, chivalry, and aesthetic faculties, and the growing love of everything that made for the enrichment of life and prosperity. Another important current that flowed along with the Renaissance was that of Reformation. Reformation was a religious movement led by Martin Luther in the 15th century. It protested against the practices of the Roman Catholic Church. It advocated complete faith in Bible and in one's own soul for salvation. This early Protestantism was grounded on the individual's inner experience of his spiritual struggle and salvation, denying the role of any intermediation like church and priest. Then it was also an age of new discoveries and explorations of new lands through adventurous voyages across uncharted seas, and oceans. The recent discoveries of new worlds beyond the seas and the thrilling tales brought home by daring explorers like Drax, Frobisher, and Relic quickened the popular curiosity and the zest for adventure, kindled fresh ideas about many things, and did much to enlarge the boundaries of men's mind. Thus, it was an age when men lived intentionally, thought intentionally, and wrought intentionally. Then, it was also an age of intense patriotism, when people took a keen interest in England's past, pride in England's greatness, hatred of England's enemies, and unflinching loyalty to England's queen. Then, it was also an age of new discoveries. It was first of all Copernicus who uh, who gave the theory that sun is in the center and earth along with the other planets they revolve around the sun. Earlier it was taken to be the earth that was earth that is to be in the center, and sun along with the other spheres were believed to rotate around the earth. But Copernicus changed this earlier Ptolemaic theory. So, Renaissance England, or the movement Renaissance, it brought many changes in the European countries and especially in Italy and England. Everything uh, became, everything came to a new life. Whether it was life, it was culture, manners, literature, painting. In every sphere or strata of life, we can see a dignified effect which produced greatest works of uh, world literature, painting, architecture, everything. So it became possible only because of the reign of Queen Elizabeth. She gave shelter to all these artists, and since there was peace and prosperity, they could they could do and perform their uh, art in a best possible manner. It is during the same time when Leonardo da Vinci he painted the best of his works. William Shakespeare he wrote finest tragedies, comedies, and other chronic plays, along with the sonnets. Ben Jonson he imitated and followed the classical or the Greek uh, rules and regulation. He followed them and wrote his comedy of humors. Francis Bacon, he he used a forestic style of writing, and he mixed Latin phrases along with his subject matter and produced such essays which are very dense. So this is all about Renaissance, and there are many important writers who uh, gave new heights to this literary movement. Thank you for listening me carefully. It is all about Renaissance.